good afternoon, and well done if you've made it to this point. This is where the footballers come out and surprise. No. We have a new initiative today to launch, and I want to call up 4 people to talk about where it's been done elsewhere in the world, and also a couple of examples of where it will be done in the UK. So if I can have Hannah and Farah come up here. I see Asim still here, who is an ambassador for one of the programs. And also if I have Phil, because Phil's project is great. I don't think there's anybody else left from the 4. Oh, Hannah's here. Do you want to come up? You want to come up? Yeah, okay. So we've only got 10 minutes, so I'm going to ask Hannah and Farah to explain what they've done throughout the world, and then we'll link it up to what we're doing in the UK, and hopefully some of you will get involved in this project. So without further ado, and I don't have a script, and I got it wrong earlier, but can I try the title thing again? We've got Hannah Rosenthal, who's a congressional appointment by Barack Obama on monitoring anti-Semitism around the world. I believe she's the Special Commissioner on monitoring anti-Semitism. I've got the titles wrong. And Farah Pandith, who is a State Department appointment for relations with the Muslim community around the world, young Muslims around the world. And they've gone. Just like magic. So I'm going to ask them to speak about the Hours Against Hate initiative globally, and then we'll get to local.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
We're going to be really quick because we want these guys to actually talk about what they're doing here in the UK. But we catalyzed a campaign called 2011 Hours Against Hate. And we catalyzed it at a conference that was held by the OSCE, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. That was a conference on tolerance, and it took place in Kazakhstan. And at that conference, Hannah and I, as representatives of the United States government, were asked to be part of the U.S. delegation, and were asked to give formal speeches on behalf of the U.S. on 2 issues. Hannah was asked to speak on anti-Semitism. I was asked to speak on what they called Islamophobia. We did something really rebellious, and we switched roles. So I spoke about anti-Semitism. Hannah spoke about Muslim hatred. It started a little bit of a ripple effect. The civil society that were at that conference said, that was totally cool. It's really neat that you're doing that. But do something where we can take part. Do something where we can do an action-oriented something that speaks about what you've said. Because the last paragraph in both of our speeches said, hate is hate, no matter who the victim is. So we went back to Washington and we decided we need to do something. We need to answer the call of the civil society that said, please do something. So here's what we did.
So we thought it was civil society groups that were youth-oriented. We realized 2 things. As was said earlier in your conference, youth are not only our future, they're our present. And secondly, that everything we do should always have a call to action. We had to hear it from them again for it to register. So we literally launched through social media a campaign called 2011 Hours Against Hate, asking young people through a virtual campaign on Facebook and Twitter to volunteer an hour or more of their time to serve someone or some organization that doesn't look like them, pray like them, or live like them. Now, it so happened, because of that conference that Farah and I were at, Muslim, Jewish, that there was, at the beginning, a sense, oh, this is only about interreligious outreach. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is about people who don't look like you, pray like you, or live like you. It crosses gender, it crosses socioeconomic, religious, race, sexual orientation, etc. And so we rolled this out with the hope that at the end of 2011 hours would be pledged on this virtual campaign. And lo and behold, it totally caught on. And I'm old enough to not completely understand it. But what happens in social media is it goes and it goes and it goes. And so as we closed the year out, tens of thousands of people had bothered to go online to say, I've pledged these hours. But in the interim, Farah and I have day jobs that are very different. And while we were going around the world speaking, sometimes together, usually separately, we would talk about this. And people in the audience would say, I totally get it. I'm going to take it and run with it. So we had mayors and ambassadors and young people, NGOs and Peace Corps, and people who said, I'm going to take it and run with it. So we don't like to think we created a monster. We feel like we created a mini movement. And in one of our presentations, some time ago, Alex was there and said, you know, this sounds like a great platform for the Olympics. They might be interested in this. And so Alex, you heard his introduction, all the hats he wears, with other people who wear a whole bunch of hats, got together, and it's totally yours now. When Farah used the word catalyze, we were the catalyst, we put it out there, and people have run with it, but the year changed. So now it's 2012, and you all got together and together put together an application to the Olympic Committee for the Summer Games here, and lo and behold, they got the Inspire mark and got the partnership with the Olympics, which is this fabulous opportunity. And we're here more to salute you and your initiative and what you're about to do more than anything. So I think you need to hear now what they plan to do. Okay.
Because we've only got a few minutes, we're going to have 2 weeks, if that's okay with Hannah. Is that okay with Hannah? Yeah, unless you want to come up here as well. I don't want to talk. We're going to have 2 examples. We have about seven definite projects that we've put forward already and approved by the Olympics, and we're looking at another 5. And what we're going to ask to do today is ask you whether you want to be part of this movement, because it's a viral movement. But just as an idea, we have 2 of the faith projects here. So I'm going to start with Phil, because otherwise he'll cut himself short, because he's a conference organizer too. He's a great guy. And what Faith Forum for London are doing. And then I'll go to Asim.
Well, thank you very much indeed. At the Faith Forum for London, we were triply inspired this year. First of all, because Hannah and Farah came to speak at our conference on social innovation and social action at Lambeth Palace in November and spoke about their project, which we found very inspiring. Then we thought the Olympics is coming to town and to London, of all places. So a great opportunity there to try and look for some sort of tangible legacy that the faith communities can act on the basis of that. And third of all, it's Her Majesty the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. And the government here is launching a programme called A Year of Service, which is going to celebrate social action taking place in different faith communities and get people working across different faith communities. So we decided we would launch an initiative this year, inspired by those 3 things, that would try and bring 12 volunteers from at least 4, ideally 9. We have 9 faith communities on the Faith Forum for London, at least 4 faith communities to volunteer 20 hours each in a different faith community to their own, working together for common good and breaking down barriers of hate, misunderstanding, and building a kind of positive energy around those things. So you've got 20 hours, 12 volunteers. That's a lot of hours. I'm not going to do the maths right now. I can't do it. But we hope there'll be a positive moment and something that we can try and push forward going forward. And I'm glad to say, out of our 12 volunteers we're seeking, we've had 2 today. Brian and Annette have already come forward, and I'd invite those of you who say, this sounds interesting, to come and speak to me as well, because I think it's not a huge ask, but it could be something quite powerful, and we'd like to celebrate that and promote that and promote you. So please do let us know.
I'm going to ask Asim, and then I promise you we're going to finish almost on time.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Asim Siddiqui. In terms of my day job, I work for a bank, so I guess that makes me a banker, but not a nasty banker, a nice one. There's still a few of those out there. But I'm here in my capacity as a board member of CEDAR, which is a pan-European professional network. We're in around 16 European countries now, set up in 2008, mainly around breaking down barriers between kind of Muslim and non-Muslim communities. And we run kind of a whole range of kind of mentoring programs. We launched the European Muslim Women's of Influence Award a year or so ago. So there's a number of projects that we run. But in terms of our involvement with the 2012 campaign, is that we hope to organise And it just happens that the Olympics coincides with Ramadan, which is the fasting month where Muslims fast between kind of sunrise to sunset. And what we hope to do is organise a Ramadan festival during the Olympics and look to, we're still kind of brainstorming the ideas, but look to kind of feed 2,012 people during the course of the Olympics, during the course of Ramadan. And this will provide an opportunity for kind of Muslim and non-Muslims to come together during the kind of evening sunset prayer and kind of the what we call the iftar, the breaking of the fast meal, and opportunity for kind of communities to kind of get to know each other and kind of understand what some of their values are. So that's the kind of the main focus of our activities for 2012.
Okay.
Alex.
So these are two examples. There are others. Hannah's in the room from the Phoenix. Just take a wave. Hannah's in the room from the Phoenix group, and they're looking at intercultural activities and dialogue during the games. Rene Kassam, which is a Jewish human rights movement, are doing something on Gypsy and Travellers, an arts and theatre project around that. The Football Association themselves are bringing schools together, and the Three Face Forum are doing a project in 40 schools, etc., etc. So it's a movement that is snowballing. We have the support of the Olympics. We have friends around the world and projects around the world which we can link up to. We have the support of faith communities, and now all we need is your support. So here today, we're launching 2012 Hours Against Hate, and what we want to succeed is trying to get the Olympic spirit of friendship and respect, those Olympic values, put into a program where communities come together and demonstrate that what this Olympics is about our city, London, demonstrating to the world that we can come together and give our time in order to combat all forms of discrimination and hatred. So I invite you to do that today. We've been given a very special award by the Olympics. We've been given the Olympic Truce mark. There's actually no mark, but we've been given it anyway. And that means that we are fulfilling international peace obligations of the United Kingdom and the Olympic Games, and we're very honoured to do that. So if any of you are interested, your organisations or as individuals in being involved in this project, come and see Phil or myself. I'm going to put this on Phil for the moment, Phil and myself, and thank you very much. But we're very, very proud and grateful for the Fair Share Foundation to give us time to launch this today. So thank you very much, and thank you to our speakers coming all the way from Washington and even London. Thank you. I don't have any spare trainers to show you either. So.